All right, now it should be working. Can you guys hear me now? Terrific. Let me just make sure I fix this. I think we have people from Brazil, Latin America, so I'll try to do Portuguese, Spanish, English, whatever you guys wanted. But just text me here from where are you guys speaking from. São Paulo, Rio, Brazil. I've seen people from Mexico, Peru, Colombia. Oi, Laura. Hi, Laura. Nice. Felipe, São Paulo. Letícia, Rio. São Paulo, Curitiba. It's my hometown. All right, so let's get started. So we have an hour, and I want to cover a few things today. So let's go to what matters. So today, guys, you know, the purpose of the live is to talk through 5 things that I call hidden secrets about applying to your business school or, you know, pursuing your MBA degree. And we're gonna go one by one, okay? So let's start first. Why, in my view, right? That's the first question I get asked the most. Tiago, I am 23, 22 years old. I'm finishing college, or I have 1 or 2 years of work experience. Is the MBA a good fit for me? That's the question I get asked. Second question I get asked the most is, Tiago, I'm 32, 34, 36 years old or more. I have 10 plus years of work experience. Am I too old for the MBA? So the answer for both questions is no, right? And I want to explain why. Because what you need to have as an answer is why you want to pursue an MBA, what's the narrative of your story on the reasoning why, and why is the best time for you, right? So that's what matters, and I want to show you some proofs. So let me just switch my window to this page here. 1 second. Okay, and feel free to send me questions here in the chat, guys, because I can see as well. Nope. For some reason, I have too many windows open. One second, guys. Okay. Okay, now I have everything. Feel free to send me questions on the chat. So the first question, right? If you're too young or if you're too old. So let's look at this. This is what I want to show you. This is the Foster Business School. This school is in the Washington state. On the west coast, but the northwest of the US. Okay, Very good school. I even put them here in the, just so you visualize, right? United States map, northwest, Washington State, in the Seattle city, okay? This area has a lot of the big tech companies. So let's look at the Foster Business School statistics. If you look at the class they had in 2020, the average years of work experience is 6 years, okay? And that's usually what people focus. Oh, the business school average is like 5 to 6 years. But look at the range of years of experience. This is 0 to 15, 2 to 17, right? 2 to 11 years of work experience. So it varies, right? And you see the range, even though the average age is 29 years old, the range goes from 24 to 39 years old. Okay, so people that are very young, that are probably out of school, they had 0 work experience, up to people with 39 years old with 15 years of work experience. Okay, not all schools will disclose this data. Most of the schools, if you go to the class profile, you'll see that average 5 years of work experience and then 28, 29 years old. That's the average. But some schools, they do disclose the range of experience and age, okay? So this is a proof to you that schools are willing to accept you if you have fewer than 2 or 3 years of work experience and even more than 8 or 9 years of work experience. So it's all about you explaining why you want to do an MBA now. Okay, so that's the important piece. If you are older or have more than 10 years of work experience, you just need to explain why is now the moment, right? Why did you realize now is the moment? And every person has their own story, right? I have a few students, I'm looking at Laura here, right? And other students. Maybe they want to do the MBA right now, right after college. Why? You have to come up with a reason. My family is moving, my fiance is moving. I want to take the opportunity to continue to develop myself. There's a lot of reasons, right? Right. So age doesn't matter, okay? What matters, it's your why you want to do an MBA and why is now the best time for you to do it. Make sense? So let me just open for questions here. I saw somebody send a question. So why MBA is more important? And that's a question that you're gonna get asked, not in your application per se. You're gonna have to explain that, but in the interview process, in the final interview where schools are interviewing you, they're gonna ask you, why do you wanna do it? Why you wanna pursue an MBA? Why now? Why this school? Right? Those are the 3 questions people get asked in the interview. The final stage in your process: interview with an admissions, interview with a current student. Right? So yeah. Ana Maria Gonzalez. She's asking, I'm a Peruvian here. Are schools actually wanting us Latin Americans? Yes, of course. Actually, Ana Maria, the University of Duke, the Fuqua Business School, they have on average 15 to 20 Peruvians in each year. My school that I studied, Cornell Johnson, has on average 5 Peruvians each year. Every single school in the top 30 schools in the United States have Latin Americans, and they need Latin Americans. They need diversity, okay? So this is very important. Diversity is also very important. The second question, let me see if we can find more schools with these statistics. All right, let's see UCLA Anderson. Some schools don't disclose that range of but 5 years average. They don't do the range, so it's hard to find. That's why it's a hidden. I call it like a hidden secret, because not all schools disclose the range of ages in the range of work experience. But if you join, admissions info sessions, admissions online events, and you ask them, oh, so what's I see in the website you'd love to see students with an average 5 years of work experience, but what's your range? Like, what's the range that you're accepting students? And then the admissions consultant will probably say, well, we take students that from 0 to 1 years of work experience, from up to more than 10 years. But we'd like to see that range, that meeting the 4 to 6 years, let's call it. Okay, so it's not impossible to get accepted if you have fewer or more. So let's go to the second piece. I want to go through this and then we will open for questions. This is also interesting because this question is people don't understand when they read the employment reports, but I want to show you why and who makes the most money, right? Who earns the most after business school. And I'm not talking about professional careers, meaning going to investment banking, consulting, X, Y, and Z, right? Who's actually earning the most? And this is going to tie back to the age and experience, okay? So let me go find this. Okay. So I am at the Columbia Business School report, okay, an Ivy League school. I want to show you guys, and Ana Maria was asking, oh, do they actually want us, Latin Americans? Look, 46% of the Columbia Business School class was made of international students, okay? So that's almost half of the class is international. 41% is women. So they want us. They need diversity. So here's what I want to focus. This is the average, right? Median salaries for each of these positions. So students that graduated in 23, this is how much they were making when they finish their business school degree at Columbia. Consultants were making a median above $190,000 per year. So that's the annual salary. And that's how we see salaries in the US. It's always annual, and we call this base salary. Okay, so that's why we have base salary here. So 190,000 consulting, and median investment banking 175. But I want you to see the range because Columbia disclosed the range of salaries, and this is nice. Look at this. We have people making up to $261,000 in consulting, annual salary. And look at the bonus range, $132,000. And this bonus is what we call signing bonus. It's a bonus that you receive right after you finish your internship, you receive the full-time offer, and you receive the signing bonus. So you usually see schools disclosing that, oh, our median signing bonus is $35,000 or $30,000. But look at the range. This is insane, $132,000. So somebody at Columbia got a job in consulting that was paying $261 plus $132 in signing bonus. Similarly, look at corporate finance. I have a $300,000 salaries in corporate finance, right? 170,000 bonus. Investment banking, 225. Look at investment management. Folks going to asset management, hedge funds, right? $350,000 plus $220,000 bonus. So who are those people getting these insanely high salaries? It goes back to the experience, right? Remember, average 5 years of work experience. But if you have more, it's fine. And if you have more, it's more likely that you're going to be one of those folks here making way above the median of the class. If you have 10 plus years of work experience in finance in your country, in Peru, in Brazil, you have all the certifications, you have a solid background, and you get a job in an asset management here, in a hedge fund, you're not going to get paid $150,000 average. That's the average post-business school. They're going to evaluate you based on the background you have and the experience that you have, plus the credentials of the MBA. And most likely you're going to, exit your MBA and enter the job market at $250,000, $300,000 a year, right? So my point here is that the people making the most dollars are the ones that actually have more than 5 years of work experience. Okay, there's no way a asset management or investment banking will pay that money for a recent grad from undergrad. Okay, so that's what I need to understand. So people that are always asking me, Tiago, I have more than 10 years of work experience, this is bad. No, this is actually good. But you don't want to wait until you're like in your 35, 40 years old, like in your 40s. The earlier you do, the better, but don't wait too much, right? So this is the positive in my view that is not mentioned anywhere. The people that have actually good work experience and more than 8 and sometimes 10 years old, they're gonna get a nice MBA and they'll get a better offer than their classmates, right? And here are the proofs. I'm looking at the Columbia Business School report, okay? I'm looking at this corporate finance job. Somebody was making $300,000 a year. This person in corporate finance who went to work for a top 500 company in corporate finance, a $300,000 salary in corporate finance, it's probably a VP role, a vice president role in a big multinational, okay? Because I used to be a senior director in the buy side in a big multinational. And my salary was $250, $275. So above that, it's a VP role. This person here who got this VP role most likely had more than 10, 12, 15 years of work experience prior business school. Okay, so don't be discouraged to apply, even if you're a little bit more experienced. All right, let me just read the questions now. So Laura is asking, what will be a compelling reasons for the university, from the university point of view, for a student to pursue an MBA immediately after finishing college or with limited work experience? The compelling reasons, Laura, is that you need to show that you have a tremendous potential and you are very, 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 very ambitious. That's what I need to do, right? So decouple the first piece. You need to show that you have potential by having good grades, having good extracurricular experience in your resume, and having done a few internships, or probably you are already working full time while you're in school. Okay. The second piece of the ambitions is you need to show that you have a big vision, right? Your long-term vision is very ambitious, and the MBA is the path for you to get there quick, fast, and be well prepared. So don't be discouraged. I just had one student of mine, Mateus, and I'm going to be speaking with him right after this live event. Mateus had 1 or 2 years of work experience, if not less than this. And he's very young, and he got accepted. We only applied to one school. He wanted to go to the Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., okay, because he had family near the city. That's the school he wanted to go. That's a really good school for real estate people, for people that want to go into real estate investment. And Mateus only applied to Georgetown, the McDonald Business School. Mateus was my student for the past 2 years, since he was about to graduate in college. We spent 2 years and a half preparing. He applied and he was accepted Georgetown McDonald with a Dean's Scholarship. Dean's Scholarship. He got a lot of money in scholarship. Plus, he's getting money to travel abroad, to travel into the national in the United States for recruiting purpose. He's getting a bunch of dinners, events with the dean and the admissions of the school. He's getting private invitations only for recruiting events. So he's getting a lot of things. So people like Mateus and like you and like Bruno went to Cornell, to my school, with less than 1 year of work experience. Less than 1 year. He got accepted. And he went into banking. So don't be discouraged. We just need to show in your application that you have the ambition, and you understand how and why you need the MBA degree. Okay, so that's the answer. Leticia is asking, for the admissions folks that are evaluating us, financial conditions or financial needs is a reason to pursue an MBA in the case of professionals with more than 10 years of experience. Leticia, if you have more than 10 years of work experience and you're justifying to admissions that you just want to do an MBA because you are not making enough money back in Brazil or in your home country and you want to make more money in the US, that's not a good reason. The reason is how you tell that story. It's the following. I have developed 10 years of work experience here. I've done this, and that. But now I understand that I need to learn more. I need to learn skills that I'm missing for me to be able to get to the next level in the next 5-10 years. I've realized that for me to be an executive in a corporation, to be a vice president, a senior vice president, I'm lacking this, and these skills. That's how the business school will be able to help me to relearn the skills that I'm missing to propel my career forward. Second, I've realized that over this past 10 years, I've only done this subject matter of work, right? But I would love to learn more and learn different things. And now I realize it's the time for me to maybe learn consulting, and I want to try consulting. Why? Because I want to learn how consultants think. I want to learn strategic projects, strategic thinking, execution of projects, because those are the skills they're going to build the foundation for me to be an executive in the future. So those are the reasons, Leticia, right? It's never about the money, right? It's going to be about the money because I always tell my students, money is never going to be a problem after business school, okay? Money will come because you're going to get a good degree, a decent and very good job in the United States, most likely, with a good pay and a high potential career, right? So money is never the issue after business school. Maybe it's an issue now in Brazil. You're not happy. You're not satisfied with market conditions and how much you're getting paid. That's a reason to leave, yes, but you don't need to tell admissions consultant, right? You need to tell them that you understand what you've developed, but now you understand the gaps you have to pursue your next career chapter, okay? And the admissions consultant want to see people that have ambitions, right? So if you write an essay, or if you tell the admission that, I'm doing my MBA because I want to become a coordinator, supervisor of my department, or whatever, right? A manager. No, you need to think big. People that are pursuing MBA, they have an ambition to go to the top, usually, right? They want to manage a business unit. They want to manage a region. They want to be a C-level executive, chief marketing officer, chief operating officers, chief financial officers, CEO, VPs of whatever, right? So that's what you need to be thinking if you want to pursue an MBA. Eric, how long after you start the MBA program will you be able to apply for summer programs? Are they all located in New York? So all summer internships across the United States, across the globe. You can even apply for internships in Asia and in Europe, anywhere. Once you start school in August, the US calendar year starts in August, right? So you're gonna start school in August. For the folks that are pursuing investment banking and finance careers, you're gonna get an internship offer in 3 to 4 months since you start school. So you start applying to internship jobs right after the first month you join the school. That's how fast it is for you to get a job, okay? People who want to do consulting, tech, and other positions, they'll get on a job offer within the 6 months, 7 months, starting business school. So yeah, that's how fast it works. Santiago Andreaval, silent Colombian crowd coming out. When you get out of the MBA, is there still that process where the company has to advertise job opening for Americans before hiring us? Santiago, no. So when you go to business school, you get an internship. You're gonna do your internship. You're gonna do well. You're gonna receive a full-time offer. Okay, the full-time offer is the following. Santiago, go finish your second year in business school. Remember, because the internship is in between your first year and your second year of your MBA, right? So the MBA is a 2 years full-time program. In between 10 to 12 weeks, you do an internship. You do the internship, you work well, you do well, you receive a full-time offer. What does the full-time offer means? Means that go back to finish your second year and you have a guaranteed job with us. You graduated, you have a guaranteed job with us. That's what it means. You're going to start your job. You're going to be still under the F1 student visa. The beauty is that the F1 student visa, for some schools, if you apply for schools that have a STEM designation means schools where you can take quantitative and more finance, driven, more quant-driven classes, you're going to qualify for this STEM designation, which is like science, technology, economics, math majors, okay? If you get the STEM designation, which all these top 30 schools offer, you get 3 years of work to be able to work in the US for 3 years after your MBA, okay? Under the F1 student visa. So the company, they don't need to do anything with you. But here's what the company is going to do. Okay, Santiago has 3 years to work under the F1 visa using the OPT. Okay, that's a qualification for post-training after business school. But in the first year, your company is going to apply for your work visa. It's called H1B, right? So they're going to apply to your H1B, and that's a lottery, right? It's a lottery. So every year, the US government releases, 60,000, 70,000 H1 visas. You need to go through a lottery. You have a 30 to 45% chance of getting selected. Every year changes, okay, on average. So you have 3 years to get the lottery to be able to get the working visa, H1B. After you get the H1B, you have 6 years to be able to work in the United States. The company doesn't need to advertise anything for you to get this job or for you to maintain your H-1B visa. However, throughout the 6 years under the H-1B visa, your company is going to do the next step. They're going to apply for your green card. Now, when they apply for the green card, the company needs to advertise the job to the market, interview other applicants to decide whether or not to continue your process. Everyone that I know that is an international student that went through the same process that I did never got this rejected. Why? Because the United States needs talent. They need qualified people. And the positions and the jobs that you're going to have is not a standard job that the basic average American gets. We are talking about the top 2 or 3% of the jobs in the US that have a high paying above $200,000, $300,000. It's a small fraction. These salaries here that I was showing, $250,000 to $300,000 annually, it's massive in the US. In Brazil, in your country, Peru, Colombia, it's a lot of money. In the US, it's also a lot of money. And just a small percentage of the population make that money. So when the companies go to advertise that they need to sponsor your green card because you have this title, this is what you do, there's not enough people qualified to do that job. So it's going to be, you're going to get your green card eventually. Okay. Gilberto is asking, my graduation. So Gilberto is asking if, like, does it matter where I finish my undergrad or my school? My school doesn't have a strong name. It doesn't matter. Okay. It doesn't matter where you went to school, what did you study, what's your major. It doesn't matter. Okay. Dalu, do you recommend MBA or Masters in Finance? I already have a banking experience, would like to move to the US and keep working in this industry. So difference between MBA and Masters in Finance, okay? If you are young, very, very young, with probably less than 2 or 3 years of work experience, you can do the Masters in Finance, okay? The majority of the Masters in Finance, they cater to very young professionals. And then you'll be able to enter the job market at a young roles or junior roles, analyst roles. If you have a little bit more experience, or maybe you still have 2 or 3 years of work experience, but you want to start your career in a mid-entry level in finance, go to pursue an MBA. If I were to choose now, do an MBA, okay? But I need to evaluate case by case. So I need to talk to you to understand a little bit more. Gabriel, I don't want to work in finance. I feel like Mexicans are often overlooked for promotions in my industry. Oh my gosh, will an MBA help with that? Absolutely, Gabriel. My best friends from business school are Mexicans. We, like at Cornell, we had like 10 Mexicans. Every school has on average, I will say 10 to 20 Mexicans. So it's a good crowd. You guys all do really well in job recruiting and getting good offers in the United States. Once you are in the United States, let me tell you guys, once you are in the United States in a consulting role, working for McKinsey, Bain, BCG, or you're in finance, working for Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, Bank of America, doesn't matter. Nobody cares where you're from, where did you grow up, your accent, how you dress up, how you look like. Nobody cares. This is the country that was built by immigrants. Today, I go to my bank, I work in investment banking. My bank is diverse. There's people from Asia, India, Pakistan, Africa, Canada, Latin America, all over the world, right? Of course, majority is Americans, yes, maybe 50, 60%. But you see people there that they look like me, right? And they're fine. So don't think they're gonna be overlooked by promotions because from where you're from or because you're accent Americans. The elite Americans that you're gonna be working with, the top 2, 3, 5% of the Americans that are going to be working with, they don't care because they went to good schools, they're open-minded, they are forward thinkers, they've been traveling, and they've learned, right, to work with internationals and immigrants. And they appreciate Americans, they appreciate hard workers. Okay? And it's a meritocratic country. So the more you put effort, the more hours you work, the more you deliver, the more you get paid, the higher you get promoted, the faster you get promoted. Okay. So let me go back to my other topics. So now it's clear, right? Who makes the most post-business school? That's usually the folks that have more experience. The third point is test optionality and or versus the GMAT score. Okay, this is another topic that people don't understand. People say, Tiago, oh, I have to study for the GMAT. It's going to take me forever. Yes and no. You need to know that, one, if you have more than 5 years of work experience and you are considered a busy professional, you can apply using the executive assessment. It's called EA, okay, EA. The executive assessment is an option that people like you have, people that has more than 5 years of work experience. And that's a much, much easier exam for you to take compared to the GMAT or the GRE. And people don't know this. Today, 80% of my students, my mentees, that are applying to business school and they're getting accepted, they apply using and leveraging the EA, the executive assessment. The content of the EA and the GMAT are the same. So if you study for the GMAT, you're going to be ready to take the EA. The difference is the GMAT is a massive monster long exam and super tough. The executive assessment is a 90-minute exam. It's usually 1/3 of the questions of the GMAT. Much easier questions. So you don't feel tired, right? You don't feel anxious. You don't feel worried. It's a much lighter exam for you to take. And the beauty is that the schools, the executive assessment scores do not impact the school's ranking. Remember, schools are evaluated through several criteria by many sources, right? The Financial Times, U.S. News, a lot of sources. And the scores, the GMAT score and the GRE score, are scores that the schools need to report, and that score impacts the overall ranking of the university. That's why when you look at Stanford University, you see their GMAT average like super high, and they want to keep that, right? Because that's what makes them to be also at the top. But the beauty of the executive assessment is that schools are not being penalized by the executive assessment. They don't need to disclose the executive assessment scores. And these executive assessment scores don't impact the school's ranking. So that's what you need to know. So now you have an opportunity to take an exam that's much easier, and the range of scores are much wider, and literally you can study 1 or 2 months and you get the minimum score for you to apply, and that's it. Because the scores is just one checkpoint in your application, right? The school is looking across a lot of things in your application. The score is just one checkpoint. Check, let's look at the rest. So if you're experienced, that's what matters the most for the school, right? So don't spend too much time fighting for the GMAT or the GRE, okay? Test optionality is very important for you to know. Consider the executive assessment. Second optionality that people don't consider request a GMAT waiver. What does that mean? You're requesting for the school that you don't want to submit a GMAT score because A, B, and C. And then the school will assess your request and they will either accept or deny. And that's it. If you submit a waiver, a GMAT waiver, and they accept it, good. Just go submit the rest of the application. And you don't need to study for the GMAT, right? If you receive a deny, okay, now I know I have to study for the GMAT and I have to apply with the GMAT. But who are the people and who are the schools that can then accept GMAT waivers? So I have a list of schools that accept the executive assessment, and I also have a list of schools that accept GMAT waivers. But how can you get a GMAT waiver? I have students that got into the top 10, 15 schools in the US with a GMAT waiver. How? You need to justify that one, your undergrad, your college, you went to an engineering, business administration, or economics degree, right? So it's more like quantitative, heavy course. So your bachelor has to be more quant driven. That's one component. Two, you justify saying that if you've worked 5, 8, 10 years in this industry performing analytical tasks, right? They want to see that you are an analytical person, that you understand math, that you understand quant. 3, I have a CFA, I have a CPA, I have a PMP certification, I have other certifications. That helps too. Or I have already another master's in my home country, or a continuing education, like a specialization in my home country. That helps too. Or 5, I have taken this executive assessment and score X. Some schools, they don't even say that they accept this executive assessment, but they accept a GMAT waiver. So in your essay to request the waiver, you can put there that you took the EA and you got a good score. So you need to be very smart around test optionalities. Second point. Third point. People always talk about the GMAT. But the GMAT, the truth is, that's the hardest exam. Hardest. In my view, what you should do, you should take a exam, a test prep exam for the GMAT and for the GRE and see which one you like the best. The GRE, it does have a harder English section, specifically in the vocabulary, but in general, in my view, is maybe 70-80% easier than the GMAT. Okay, the math section, much easier. The verbal section is similar, except they do require a little bit more vocabulary that the GMAT doesn't ask. So take those 2 exams even before you start studying for your exams, and see which one you like the best. My view is most of the time the GRE will be easier. Okay, unless you are a very good engineer, you love math, and you do really well in math. Okay, if that's your profile, you might be fine with the GMAT. Okay, but also if you're really good in math, you're gonna be doing well in the GRE either. So it doesn't really matter. So don't overlook other exams and optionalities for you to apply for business schools. Again, majority of my students, 80+% of my students, my mentees, they either apply with the EA, executive assessment, or GMAT waiver. A minority of my students apply with the GRE or the GMAT. Okay, so consider those options. And schools don't talk about it. It's very rarely that you see people talking about this. The fourth point of today, very important. It's fit. Cultural fit matters more than qualifications in general. Okay. And I don't want you guys to think, oh, if I don't have the qualifications X, Y, and Z, right, I won't be able to to get into it, right? Now, you do need to have the qualifications. You do need to have the bare minimum, right? But what will make you get into and get good scholarships is also the cultural fit, okay? And I'll give you guys a few examples. When I apply to business schools in the past, when I was in your shoes in 2014, 2015, admissions consultants, there were advising me, and that they advise you guys in your countries. They want you to apply to 8, 10 schools. Why? Because they charge you by the hour and they charge you by how many applications you submit. So they're conflicted. They want you to apply to more because they make more money. And they don't really even care if you have a real chance of getting accepted to that school. This is what's changed now. I applied to a bunch of schools in the past that doesn't even make sense to me. Now I look at what I did in the past and what my consultants did to me, it's like insane. It's a massive conflict of interest. I look at today, my students, my mentees, they sometimes apply to 1 school or 2 schools and they get accepted. Why? Fit, cultural fit. Cultural fit is super, super important, okay? You need to understand if you belong to that school. And for you to understand if you have a cultural fit with that school, you need to do a lot of networking. Attend info sessions, online events, attend in-person events. If you have the MBA tour, Access MBA, or schools coming to your country, your city, go to those events, right? Online events, 3, 4, 5 events per school. In-person events. Meet current students or former students. Talk to 3 to 5 students per school. And then meet admissions. Talk to admissions. Finally, the cherry of the cake. Nobody talks about it. You need to visit those schools. If you dedicate time to travel, visiting those schools, and spending quality time with the school, you will understand if you have a fit or not. You will be able to connect with the students and the missions. And that's what matters. I had a dream that I wanted to go to Harvard and study at Harvard. I want to go to Harvard Business School. This is my dream. I visited Harvard Business School. I went to their class. I watched a full day of classes. You know what I've learned? I've learned 2 things. 1, I'm not a Harvard student. I was not ready for Harvard. I wouldn't be able to survive at Harvard Business School. My English was not good enough. I could not understand my classmates because it's a case base. And it's a case base, so it's much harder. You have to learn finance, accounting from the scratch by yourself. So Harvard Business School method wasn't for me. And I was not ready to be able to deal with that. A lot of competition, a lot of pressure in the class. That wasn't for me. I was unhappy in every single class. By watching it, right? Was overwhelmed. First. Second, how many people actually helped me to visit the campus, to visit classes, to connect with me? 0. Right? So that's not the community that I want to go. If I don't have people that is willing to help me, to show me the school, explain me, right? They don't care. Admissions, they don't even care to connect with you because they're Harvard. That's not the school that I want to go. So after I visited Harvard Business School, I realized, no, this is not the school for me. I'm not going to be happy here. But if you visit other schools, like when I went to Cornell, people were willing to meet with me, were willing to take me to their classes, to have lunch, dinner, show me the schools, talk about their experience, and help me position to apply to Cornell. Much different experience, right? That's where I saw the fit, the cultural fit. I saw people that were similar to me, and I liked the culture of the school and how students and admissions taught. So fit, it's more important than qualifications, because I had many students that had average qualifications, but they did a tremendous networking to determine if they had a good cultural fit, and allowing the school to get to know them even before they apply. When they apply, boom, they receive an interview and they receive an offer. That's it, right? I have one couple, she and him, they applied to only one school only. FUCA, Duke, University of Duke, FUCA, okay? They apply with very low or average executive assessment scores, but they did a phenomenal job at understanding which school had the best fit for them. And they thought FUCA was the best. They spent 3 days in FUCA. They met so many students. They met everyone from the admissions committee. They even had students recommending them, right? Sending additional supporting letters requesting the school to accept them. This is phenomenal, right? That's where you see where you have the fit, when you have students wanting you to come to study with them. So that's what you need to be working on. Find schools that have a good fit for you. So don't overthink about qualifications, right? So I have a questions here. Oh, I didn't go to a phenomenal top 1 or 2 school in my country. It doesn't matter. I didn't get a 700 plus GMAT. It doesn't matter, okay? The application is holistic. It's a lot of components. You need to check the box in all these components. But if you demonstrate that you really, really want the school and you are a good fit for the school, that's more than halfway, right? I'm going to give another example. I've been interviewing now interns to work with me in investment banking. It takes me 5 to 10 seconds to know if that student, that intern, will have a good cultural fit with my bank, with my team. That's it. Okay? So I don't care about the qualifications. Everyone's qualified, but I'm looking for a cultural fit. That's the same thing at admissions and current students will be looking. Okay? Nice. Now, last point of the day. It's also not spoken, but it's very, very important. Emotional EQ, right? Emotional quotient and communication is more important than the IQ, right? What I mean by this. Your GMAT score, your GPA in college, they matter less at school and post school than your EQ and communication skills. Because I had so many friends in school with high GMAT scores, high GPA in college that were unable to do well in business school and were unable to do well in recruiting in the job market. Why? Because they didn't have an EQ, an emotional quotient, and a good communication skills. So if you're applying for business schools will want to see your grades, they will want to see your scores, and those are just check the box. Those are the bare minimums, right? And you don't need to have a high GMAT, you just need to be in the range. You don't need to have a high executive assessment, you need to be in the range, right? It's all about the range. And the range of those scores for Latin Americans, Brazilians, Peruvians, Colombians is lower, okay? It's lower than the average that they disclose. If you are in the range and you show good EQ and a good communication skills, that's what matters, okay? Why? Because the admissions are looking at people that can communicate, because they will have to get a job in the United States. If you're not likable, if you cannot communicate well, how the hell are you going to be able to get a job in the United States? And how the hell are you going to be able to survive in the job market afterwards? So focus on improving your communication skills. So if you have an average English, Start studying English every single day, right? Take classes, speak every day, listen to videos, movies, TV series in English, and put the English subtitles. Start reading 1-2 passages at night every day. Sign up for Wall Street Journal, sign up for Financial Times, and start reading articles every single day, okay? So that's what you need to be doing. Okay, focus on your communication skills, focus on your emotional skills, being aware, being friendly, being likable, showing energy. That matters much, much more than just your grades and your scores. Okay. Another example, I was recruiting for summer interns. The best folks that I want to give an offer were not the ones with the highest GMATs and grades in school. They were the ones that were able to communicate and connect with me, right? They were able to have a conversation with me. And they had this emotional intelligence. They had this amazing energy, amazing communication skills, right? That's the same for admissions, right? Schools are looking for that type of profile. So those are the 5 things I wanted to talk to you guys about. So if you want to, and how I help people, right? Sorry, I've been talking too much. Ça va, Leslie? Comment ça va? So if you need help, so this is what I do as well to support students across the globe. Let me put this link here. Ça va bien? Vous parlez anglais, Leslie? So check this website. I do offer a one-on-one consulting services. So if you are unsure what to do, what's the right path, what should you do, you should do a one-on-one consulting, like a private one-on-one consulting with me. I will be able to assess your profile, what you need to do, your weakness, your strengths, how to position and lay out a plan for you to execute in the short term, okay? If you are prepared to embark on your MBA, your master's journey, I do have a mentorship program where I mentor students. It's a long-term mentoring program, so it's a 1-year mentorship program. Most of my students, they spend more than 1 year with me. Some of them spend 2 years with me, 1.5 to 2 years. So this is a good opportunity for you to start receiving all this information and having my own advice, right? All the support from my team, from myself, and the detail step by step of what you have to do to get it into the United States or Canada or Europe to pursue your MBA or your master's degree. Okay, so check it out, the website. I have a lot of students. And then finally, let me just put on the screen. So if you oh wow, okay. Yeah, so check it out, the website. If you guys want to join my mentorship program, happy to have you guys. I've been helping more than hundreds of students, prospective students across the globe, and I love to work with you. Let me see. So let me just read one question there. I have a bachelor's in law and currently working as a customer success analyst at a small legal tech here in Brazil. My goal is to gain more experience before applying for the MBA. I need to assess your profile. I don't know how old you are, how many years you've been working, but the sooner you do, the better. That's my view, okay? The earlier you apply, the better, because you'll be able to skip many years of work experience, right? You're gonna jump right out of the gate at entry-level, mid-level management roles. So just reach out to me and I'll be able to give you more details. Thank you very much for everyone who stayed. Francine, thanks very much. I'll see you guys next time.